right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. By popular demand, we are breaking down Bears tackle Braxton Jones. We've heard from a lot of Bears fans asking us to break down Jones, so that's what we're going to do today. Leave us a comment in the comment section below if you have any feedback for us, or if you have another player you want us to break down. If you appreciate this content, give us a like as well. We really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a zone read concept, the running play for the Chicago Bears. So how this is going to work, we're going to get 23, Johnson, the running back. He's going to take a track like this right here. And Justin Fields is going to read the in man on the line of scrimmage right here. And if he flies inside this direction, Justin Fields is going to keep it on the outside. If this in man on line of scrimmage, let me clear up the picture a little bit. If he works this way vertically, or if he just sits here, he'll hand it off to number 23, Johnson, inside. So again, zone read concept here. Up front, everyone is just taking the man on them or inside. That's an old zone read concept. Obviously, it's not a perfect rule, but usually any time of veer, because that's what a zone read essentially is, it's a derivation of the old veer running scheme. Everyone takes the man head up of them or inside of them. So that's what we get here across the board. They're going to take Cole Kmet. He's going to come across the formation here. I'm not exactly sure what he does here. Kind of just runs out in space. I think theoretically, he's supposed to kick out the end man on the line of scrimmage outside of the read key. Again, the read key being right there. But anyway, let's check out how this play does. It's a really nice running play here for the Chicago Bears, and Braxton Jones is a big part of it. Let's check it out. All right, you can see everyone from the Bears offensive line working to the right. You can see Cole Kmet come across the formation. You can see right here Justin Fields. He's engaging the zone read. You see how the read key's shoulders are turned. See how he's no longer parallel to the line of scrimmage. That's an indication of a pull read from the quarterback, and that's exactly what Justin Fields does. He gets outside. Again, I don't really understand what Cole Kmet's doing here. I don't really know who he's blocking. You'd like him to maybe get north and south or maybe peel back on someone, so that's kind of strange. Ends up being a really nice run outside. Again, Cole Kmet doesn't touch anybody, so kind of weird there from his perspective. Big play here. I believe this was a 2-minute situation where the Bears are driving down the field to kick the game-winning field goal. Really nice run in the situation here. Let's focus up front here on Braxton Jones and the Bears offensive line. So I think one thing people don't understand, when you're trying to block a stand-up defensive end in pass rush situations like this, it is really, really hard. You almost have to slow and then fast play it. And here's what I mean by that. This guy in a stand-up situation, a pass rush, you don't know what's going on. There could be a crazy stunt. He could be trying to fly up the field vertically as fast as possible. He could be trying to bounce back outside and do a pass rush move in that situation. So you got to slow play it and kind of see which direction the defender is going, and then quickly accelerate your feet and hands to drive in that direction. That's exactly what Braxton Jones does. So you see right here, see how he takes like a little couple quick little shuffle steps, and then he sees him flash inside. Then he accelerates his feet and hand and drives him down inside. Perfect stuff from Braxton Jones. Really savvy play here. Because when you clear up the in-man on the line of scrimmage like this, it makes this read so much easier, as well as giving Justin Fields so much space. There's one thing you don't want to do. Let's say this number 91 gets vertical penetration right at the snap. You kind of screw it up, and let's say he ends up right here. It kind of screws up the key from Justin Fields, because then he has two Vikings. He sees colors twice right in front of him. That's a bad situation to read that for the quarterback. Instead, Braxton Jones gets his feet in the ground, washes him inside. Really nice play from Jones right here, and a really good game from the Bears offense when they needed it most.
Yeah, Nick, I think this is really key because this is Jones about fourth game back from injury. He's really gotten back up to form. He started the season off rough. I believe that's when he was kind of not feeling great, then gets injured, out for a couple games, comes back, took him a little bit of time to get back. Now he is back to form. 76.5 PFF grade this game, 69 run blocking game, 81 pass blocking grade. So he did really well this game. I think he's finally back to the form where he needs to be to get this Bears offensive line rolling.
All right, switch up to a pass protection here. So I'm going to give some credit to the Bears offensive line as a whole on this one, as well as Justin Fields. So you can see right here, we can count them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Walked up Minnesota Vikings defensive lineman. They got a seventh guy out here who's a potential threat. They only obviously have 5 offensive linemen. So what Justin Fields is going to do is he's going to motion Cole Kmet in. He's off the screen right now, and he's going to have the entire offensive line slide to the left right here. Right? Everyone's working this way, so they pick up all of this guys. And if this guy on the outside comes, then there's a hot read. He's going to have to hit a slant or some kind of quick in-breaking cut in this space right here. So again, this is classic adjusting protection stuff. But even though they adjust it well schematically, you need to execute. And one of the things about sliding protections is that the direction you slide to, in this case, the left, it still creates a one-on-one situation right here for the left tackle against a good pass rusher. This play right here is just indicative of Braxton Jones' performance. Folks, when he gets his hands on people, he completely negates them. He's become very quickly an outstanding pass blocker. You alluded to his PFF rating. Let's check out how this play goes. You see Fields motioning Cole Kmet right there, and you see everyone slide to the left. The outside man doesn't come, so there's no hot read. So Justin Fields is able to sit here, read it, take his time, and then hit the check down for a really big play. Again, this is great protection up front because right here, Justin Fields is looking for a hot read. He sees that guy dropping a coverage. It's not there, so he has to kind of recalibrate, and then he hits the check down. But again, you can only do that if you have good protection up front. And the hardest part about slide protection, this is my opinion, is this one-on-one block to the direction you're sliding to. But let's watch Jones here. He slides it, immediately gets on him. Because one of the things, if you're expecting an all-out blitz, it could be a quick throw. So you want to close the gap to that outside edge defender so that way he doesn't bat the pass down. But one of the things when you're aggressive to him, that usually allows the edge defender to recalibrate and potentially beat you around the edge quickly. But watch what happens when Jones gets his hand on him right there. So first of all, look at his long arms. Immediately gets into his chest. And watch how he just completely swallows him. Completely swallows him. Outstanding stuff. This reminds me a lot, and I know this is hyperbolic praise a little bit, but of Tyron Smith, a longtime all-pro tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. Because Tyron Smith's ability to get his hands on edge defenders and just completely shut them down is outstanding. And that's exactly what Jones does here. And I love how he keeps his feet moving too. This is the best part, right? He keeps gets his hands on them, watch him keep moving his feet. When he counters the inside, he counters the outside, he counters. Like, it's just classic, outstanding pass protection stuff. And again, this is a true one-on-one block. You're isolated out in space. Gives Justin Fields plenty of room. Because one of the things that happens here is you see other rookie Darnell Wright, he kind of gets bullied back into the pocket a little bit. If Braxton Jones would have gotten beat to the outside, because right here, Justin Fields, you can see Darnell Wright being driven to the backfield. If Justin Fields has to get more depth, right, that would be potentially the threat here from the left tackle. Instead, Braxton Jones does a phenomenal job. Justin Fields can retreat and calmly hit the check down for a big play. This is outstanding work here from Braxton Jones.
Yeah, Nick, like we said, really great in pass block protection. Actually, 81.7, his third highest grade of the season. He's had a couple of really high grades in the pass blocking department. And one thing I like is since he's gotten back from injuries, 0 sacks allowed, very minimal pressure, but only 1 sack on the season in total. So I think Jones is doing very, very good in the pass blocking game. He's a wall, is keeping Justin Fields clean, and that is what we need in this offense to get things rolling. Justin Fields needs a good pocket to be able to put the ball accurately down the field.
All right, here we've got a really cool concept from the Chicago Bears. So you can see the Minnesota Vikings have walked up in front of your screen here, 5 defenders on the line of scrimmage. Some of these guys are going to drop back in coverage. But if you notice here, you've got 5 offensive linemen and a tight end and only really 5 guys in the box. There's some safeties off the screen here, but they're about 10, 12 yards down the field. This would normally be a running formation, but a lot of teams sit there and say, well, we don't have to worry about having a linebacker because there's no running back in the backfield, except number one, for people who watch football more than 3 seconds, understand that he is a special runner with the ball in his hand. So I don't understand what the Vikings are doing here, but credit to the Chicago Bears for having a counter to it. This is a passing situation, but they decided to do quarterback run anyway, and it works out very well. So basically, they're going to treat it like a slide protection to the offense's right, the left side of our screen here. And here's the beauty of it. This is going to be a double team block, kind of a pass protection double team on number 54 to try and get movement. And they're going to take Cole Kmet here to steal off number 98. You can see right away where the hole is going to be. You can see if you got this guy going here, you're going to create a steal here. A good double team here creates a steal here. And this is Justin Fields gets north and south right there for a big run. But it focuses, the most important part here is you've got to get movement on this double team and you've got to get this guy turned and cut off. Let's check out how it goes. You can see right there, everyone's sliding to the right. You can see Cole Kmet coming across the formation. You can see the double team happening there. Look at this movement and look at this turn right here. Perfect stuff here between the left tackle and left guard. This is outstanding. Now, look, I understand 54. It's a little bit of a mismatch. But here's the thing, folks. You've got to dominate these mismatches. This has been a problem with some teams this season. They get in situations like this, and they can't dominate these mismatch opportunities because this is just like a potentially drop pass for an open receiver, right? The defense here is handing you a first down. This is like scheming up a receiver who's wide open for a 10-yard completion who drops it. That happens all the time. We see it every day. This is the same situation. Can you, when handed an opportunity for the defense, execute and get the job done? And the Bears did here up front to a big degree, right? Outstanding work. Give some credit for Cole Kmet here, cutting this guy down to the ground. Big hole here. Justin Fields gets the first down. Nice run there. This is a really good gain up front here for Chicago Bears. And again, this is a game plan situation for the Minnesota Vikings. They're sitting there thinking like, okay, we're going to bring a safety. You kind of see him come off the screen at the snap. I'll play it for a little bit. They're like, okay, we'll bring a guy in the box if we need to fill the run late because we trust these 5 guys to at least hold up for a little bit before we get safety help. This is why you need quick and immediate movement at the double team to allow no help for the safeties. Great job up front here from Braxton Jones. Great job up front here from the left guard as well. And just good up front from Justin Fields and the entire Bears offensive line. I know it wasn't a pretty offensive performance, only scoring 12 points, but this is not a bad Vikings defense as of late. I tell you what, Bears fans, you're starting to see a little bit more production up front, and that's a great sign for the future. All right, sticking with the running game, going the other way, there is Braxton Jones at left tackle, of course. This is a weird, funky defense for the Minnesota Vikings, guys. And I tell you what, this is a defense you bring up. And of course, Brian Flores is the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings, formerly with the Patriots, when they would come with all kinds of funky defenses to stop running games like the Bears. Flores, of course, famously worked with Belichick to stop the great Rams, Sean McVay offense in the Super Bowl a number of years ago. And this is an example of doing it. They're just filling up the line of scrimmage with defensive linemen, just taking over all the gaps. I mean, you can see all these guys right here. I mean, this is a ridiculous front up here. There's a guy kind of off the screen right there as well. This is designed to cover up every gap in this situation and not allow any zone kind of running schemes to work. And this is exactly what the Bears are going to try and do. So it's going to be a sweep action. It's going to be a toss, but it's basically an outside zone where the running back's going to take this angle and then try and look for a hole to get north and south where he can. You're going to get everyone working up front to the left, trying to reach people here across the board here, trying to get people cut off. It's a really tough block because in this situation, what the Minnesota Vikings are trying to do is to sit there and say, listen, we're going to take up all of your offensive linemen here trying to block our guys, and our linebackers and safeties are going to come inside and fill and make the play right around the line of scrimmage for no gain. You don't really get a chance schematically if you're the Bears. But here's what you can do here. Braxton Jones does a great job. If you can get dislocation of this guy right here, force him out wider, it winds up this gap right here. And if you can get decent enough blocks everywhere else, right? Get everyone moving this way on the play side and cut off here on the backside. You can create a natural cutback for the running back. That's exactly what the Bears do here. It's a really good job up front. Or you can see the toss right there. You can see everyone flowing to the right. You can see the Minnesota Vikings defensive linemen taking up a lot of offensive linemen. You can see the entire structure here for the Vikings is to try and get clean shots for the linebacker on the running back. But one way you can prevent that from an offensive line is if you dislocate the play side defensive lineman and cut off the backside defensive lineman. That's exactly what the Bears do here. It's outstanding stuff. So you can see how they get everyone running and pushing and shoving. Focusing on Braxton Jones here first, folks. He gets on number 91. This is a tough situation. 91's lined up in what's called a 5 technique, outside shoulder of the tackle, kind of a wider 5. He's going to sprint to the sideline. He can't get reached. But Braxton Jones just gets on him and drives him upfield, keeps working, keeps driving him, creates dislocation in the Vikings defense. When you create dislocation, you can see number 97 for the Vikings sprint as well. You're going to see this natural hole here open up. And then it requires people on the backside cutting people off. And you're going to focus here on the right guard and center, right? They work through 95. They get him cut off. This is actually a really interesting and really cool, really savvy play by the backside guard. Give some credit here. He sees by structure, he's supposed to actually take over 95, and the center is supposed to work up to number 40 for Minnesota. But right here at the snap, or right here after the snap, excuse me, he sees 95 is essentially tackling the center, right? You're in a tough position there. He just keeps working, smart, snappy play, and gets on number 40, gets a block on him, opens up the cutback for a really nice run. Folks, this is great offense here, great blocking from the Bears. Because again, this whole defensive structure is to say, you're not going to be able to run this play. This is the Vikings and Flores saying, we don't care what you do. You can play action, you can try and throw the ball on us. You're not going to run a kind of outside zone concept. We're going to completely blow it up for no loss or for no gain or a loss in this situation. By structure, this defense is supposed to prevent that. But the Bears out execute the defense with some savvy play across the board. And again, it all starts here with the left side of the offensive line, namely Braxton Jones, dislocating these defensive linemen, getting them pushed horizontally, opening up that cutback. Just look how clear this picture is right here. By getting so much dislocation, it allows the running back clear vision of where he can cut back. If he doesn't get a lot of dislocation, let's say number 91 just sits right here the entire sequence of plays, right? Let's say 91 again, focus where he could be if he doesn't get dislocated. He would be around right here, right about where the fullback is. That's a muddy picture for the running back. He would have no real good vision to cut back. He'd probably just have to duck it and get maybe no gain or a loss. But when you dislocate the play side defensive line like the Bears do here, gives a clear vision for the running back, good cutback, really nice gain against a tough defense.
Yeah, Nick. And I think one thing I like to point out here is the clean game that Braxton Jones has been playing all game, because that was not the case early on in the season, especially first 2 games. Then he gets hurt first game back. Braxton Jones was a nightmare when it came to penalties. Talking about 7 penalties in those 3 games alone. Since then, since he's gotten back, got his feet back from under him, returned to form, 0 penalties the last 3 games, obviously 0 penalties in this game here. He's been playing very, very clean football and very, very sound football. I think he's back on track, and I don't think we need to worry about those penalties from the beginning of the season.
All right, switching up to a pass protection, going the other way there, of course, is Braxton Jones at left tackle. And this is a play to kind of highlight exactly how good of a pass protector Jones has become. So this is not a good play for the Bears offensive line as a whole up front in terms of pass protection. They don't do a great job. Justin Fields has to kind of create something out of nothing. But again, I want to focus right here on this matchup because this is one-on-one. They're isolating Jones right here on the in-man on the line of scrimmage. And right here, this defensive line has what I like to call as a three-way go. Right? He can either work to the inside to beat the offensive lineman. He can either stretch the outside rush or he can work through them. This is a tough situation for any offensive lineman to be in, right? Because when this guy has a three-way go and go any direction he wants, you've got to react quickly. You got to take away, the most dangerous threat, which is inside, but you can't give him an easy outside corner. It's a tough position for offensive tackles, but Braxton Jones does a great job. So he immediately threatens inside, and that's great technique right there. So when you're threatened with an inside rush as an offensive lineman, you want to take your inside foot and pound it parallel to the line of scrimmage. That's exactly what he does here. See how he pounds it right there and squares them up? Outstanding stuff. You don't want to turn your shoulders. If you turn your shoulders to counter in the inside move right here, let's say Braxton Jones had turned his shoulders, he would have opened up the outside corner to his left to allow the defender to counteract and beat him with an outside move. But instead, he keeps his shoulders parallel, pounds inside, takes away the defensive lineman. And here's where he reminds me of Tyron Smith, like I mentioned earlier. He gets his hands on him, and then the defensive end's done. He's just like stopped. He's negated. He's still nowhere, right? This is embarrassing for a defensive end, folks. If you run into an offensive lineman like this and you get just stuck right here around the line of scrimmage, this is what gets people cut in the NFL, right? You expect this kind of performance between, an undrafted free agent who's never going to make a team late in the preseason game, right? You don't really expect a defensive end late in the season to be just demolished and embarrassed like this by the left tackle. That's what he is, right? Great technique with his feet, gets his hands on him, and then he's just done. The defensive lineman's done. This is what separates, I think, Braxton Jones from a lot of other young tackles. We see a lot of other young tackles. They've got good hands. They've got good size. But he may have the strongest hands out of any young tackle in the NFL right now. He gets his hands on you, and then you're done. And this plays a great example of that. All right, going with the running game again, there is Braxton Jones right there at left tackle, of course. And earlier we talked about dislocating the defense, right? When they have this many people lined up on the line of scrimmage. The whole point here, once again, for the Vikings is to cover up all the offensive linemen, cover up as many gaps as possible. Don't give the running back a chance to cut back and make a play. But the way you can beat that is if you dislocate the play side defensive lineman. That's exactly what we're going to get here. We're going to get number 84 on him. We're going to get Braxton Jones on number 90 here for the Minnesota Vikings. And again, the whole point is to take these two guys here and get them that way. Get all of this action dislocated in that direction right here, and then have everyone else work to cut people off. So the goal here, right, is to basically create a seal here, again, to get all these defenders on this side and to create a seal here. The running back's going to take the toss and then work through that cutback lane right there. It's a really nice running play for the Bears. Once again, the Bears beating a defense designed to stop it. All right, you can see the toss, and again, you can see the dislocation. Look how much he's sprinting and taking the defensive lineman where he wants to go. You threaten him with getting reached, and once a defensive lineman starts sprinting, you just keep driving your feet. Great stuff up front here because you can see this dislocation. Let's go back to the very beginning and see where people start. You can see, look at where number 90 starts. He's basically directly in between the two hashes right at the middle of the field. Look at where he ends up. All the way out here, right? You're looking at what? 15 yards of dislocation? That's a lot of space. It's a lot of ground to cover for these other defensive linemen. It's a lot of ground to cover for this linebacker to play in space. And the other guys, the center, backside guard, they don't do a great job. Play side guard don't do a great job, getting on the linebacker, cutting off everybody. But when you get this much dislocation on the play side, your margin for error goes down so much. Because right here, number 24, Herbert, he basically has a clear vision. Again, this is the important part, to look at a hole here, 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 maybe even all the way here. He has just clear vision, nothing in his face. Again, because they have everybody dislocated on the play side. Allows him to get his foot in the ground, get north and south, fall forward for a really nice run. Again, this is how you can beat defenses schematically designed to stop you. If you get dislocation either horizontally or vertically, and Braxton Jones delivers that right here. All right, here we go. 2-minute drive. Obviously, the Bears are trailing at this point 10-9. This was the 3rd and 10, the big completion to DJ Moore that put them in field goal range, ultimately won them the game. But again, in order for that play to happen, Justin Fields has a lot of time. You need protection. And this is one of those situations where, once again, the Minnesota Vikings are scheming up to get one-on-one opportunities. You can see number 91 from Minnesota. You can see the in-man on the line of scrimmage right here. The whole point here is you get one-on-one here, and then one-on-one there, right? Tough situation here. Now they bring in Cole Kmet here to give a little chip, just a little help on this end-man line of scrimmage. As a former offensive lineman, I hate it. Tight ends giving you chips because it's the worst situation to be in the world because you're pass setting, right? You're number 70 if you're Braxton Jones. You're pass setting out here, and this guy, Cole Kmet, chips them, and he chips them inside like that. Suddenly, your entire angle is disrupted, right? Because you're pass setting to where he is here, and suddenly he's thrown down inside right there, and suddenly you got to react. I see it every Sunday. I see it Saturdays in college football as well, where offensive linemen are in a good position with their initial pass set. The defensive end gets chipped inside, and suddenly the defensive end basically just got a boost to the quarterback. It's a tough situation to be in. I hate the chip when it's not done perfectly here. Braxton Jones does a great job reacting to the chip, using his strong hands to give Justin Fields the time he needs to make the throw. Let's check out this potentially. In fact, it turned out to be a game-winning play. All right, there you can see exactly what I'm talking about there. Jones is set. See how he's got a good proportion right there? He's got his outside shoulder, Jones, lined up with the inside shoulder of the defensive lineman. That's a good space to be in terms of blocking him. Great job there. But you see how immediately the chip then immediately just disrupted that angle. Now the defensive lineman actually gets shoved inside to this open gap right at Justin Fields, right? This is why I hate chips. Look at Jones here. Reacts, gets his hands on him, and completely just negates him. Justin Fields has time for the big throw to DJ Moore. You probably didn't notice this on the broadcast, folks. I didn't notice it either till later in the game, or until after the game when I was watching the film. But I tell you what, just the ability to just react quickly, get your hands on him, and then immediately just demolish this defensive lineman in place is outstanding work from Braxton Jones. This is elite level, cornerstone left tackle kind of stuff. And look, we know Darnell Wright's coming along. He looks like he's going to be a really good tackle for the Bears on the right side. But Braxton Jones's continued emergence as he continues to grow as a young player is going to be a huge part of this Bears offense. And they got a lot of decisions to make involving Justin Fields, and they got a lot of draft picks and salary cap to make other moves to improve this team. But I tell you what, folks, I'm starting to really like the offensive line of Chicago Bears. They've gotten a lot better as the season's progressing, and Braxton Jones is a big reason why. Again, tough situation and absolutely demolishes defensive linemen in a game-winning moment. This is big boy football here from Braxton Jones. This is a clutch play from Braxton Jones. And I tell you what, Bears fans, the future's getting brighter and brighter for number 70.
Yeah, Nick, and I think the fact of the matter is you just win when Braxton Jones is in the game. First 8 games of the season, the Bears only won 2 games. Since Jones has been back, they've already won 2 more games within those 4. So I think he's just a good football player. He elevates this Bears team. So when he's on the field, the Bears just win games.